Most people think Google shows you the whole internet. It doesn't. Google only indexes about 0.03% of everything out there. The other 99.97% is a massive digital wilderness. Private servers, hidden networks, forgotten databases, abandoned machines still running with no one watching. And there are search engines built specifically to crawl that invisible world. Some find exposed cameras. Some find your leaked passwords. Some dig up files that governments accidentally left on unprotected servers. These aren't tools you stumble onto by accident. Most of them were built for a very specific purpose, and that purpose usually sits in a gray area between research and crime. Today, we're going through every one of them. By the end, you'll understand why Googling something is basically finger painting compared to what these tools can do. Shodan. Somewhere right now, a water treatment plant is running on software from 2009 with no firewall. A baby monitor in Ohio is streaming video to anyone who types the right IP address. A traffic light controller in Germany is sitting on an open port. Shodan found all of them. Often called the search engine for hackers, Shodan doesn't look for websites. It scans the internet for devices, anything with an IP address and an open port. Webcams, routers, industrial sensors, power grid controllers, hospital equipment, even smart fridges. Shodan indexes what it finds and makes it searchable. The tool itself is completely legal. It only reads what's already publicly exposed. The crime starts when someone uses those results to access a device they don't own. That's unauthorized access, a federal offense in most countries. Security researchers use Shodan to catch vulnerabilities before attackers do. Companies run it against their own networks to check for accidental exposure, but the results aren't vague. They show device type, firmware version, physical location, every open port. A full diagnostic of hardware that was never meant to be public. If you ever wonder how a hacker overseas can mess with a city's power grid, Shodan is probably the first tool they opened. It doesn't break anything by itself, but it shows you exactly what's breakable. Censys. If Shodan is the loud one that gets all the headlines, Censys is the quiet sibling doing the real damage. Built by researchers at the University of Michigan, Censys scans the entire IPv4 address space, every possible internet address in the old system. But here's what makes it different. Censys doesn't just find open ports. It collects SSL certificates, the encryption credentials that websites use to prove their identity, so it can tell you exactly which company owns a specific server, what software version it's running, and when it was last updated. A company's server that hasn't been patched since 2015? Censys already knows. A cloud storage bucket left wide open with no password? Indexed. A forgotten test server running on a subdomain nobody remembers? Also there. A lot of corporate networks ban Censys outright because it works too well as a reconnaissance tool. Some security teams specifically monitor for Censys scans hitting their infrastructure. That's how seriously they take it. An attacker can pinpoint the exact server holding sensitive data without ever pinging that server directly. No alarms triggered. No packets sent to the target. Just a search query. There's a concept in cybersecurity called security through obscurity. The idea that hiding something is enough to keep it safe. Censys is the reason that idea is dead. EXIF search. Here's something most people never think about. Every photo you take with your phone carries invisible baggage. GPS coordinates, the exact time down to the second. The device model, sometimes even the direction the camera was pointing. It's called EXIF data, and it's embedded in every image file by default. EXIF search was a tool that crawled social media and public forums, stripped out that hidden metadata, and made it searchable by location. Type in the coordinates of a military base. See every photo taken there. Punch in an apartment building's address. Find every image posted from inside it. For stalkers, it was a dream come true. For everyone else, it was a nightmare they didn't even know existed. The tool worked so well because nobody realized their vacation selfie was silently broadcasting their exact position. You'd share a beach photo thinking it's harmless. Meanwhile, EXIF search was logging where you stood and when. Instagram and Twitter eventually started stripping EXIF data from uploads, which cut off a lot of the supply. But the technique survived. OSINT investigators, open source intelligence, still use similar methods. So do people with worse motives. Most phones let you turn off location tagging in camera settings. Personally, I'd check that before posting your next photo. Grams. Back in 2014, the dark web had a usability problem. Markets existed on Tor, but finding what you needed meant clicking through broken links, dead pages, and obvious scams. Nothing was organized. Nothing was ranked. It felt like using the internet in 1995. Then somebody with the alias Pimp Pretty launched Grams and gave the underground its own Google. The layout copied Google almost exactly. Same clean search bar, same minimalist look. It even had an I'm feeling lucky button that dropped you into a random listing for things no regular store would ever carry. Under the hood, Grams ran a custom crawler that indexed .onion sites across the Tor network. Counterfeit currency, stolen database dumps, forged documents, substances that would get you years in prison, all searchable through one unified interface. Europol and the FBI kept hitting it. Eventually, the pressure got too heavy, and Grams went offline for good. But the lesson it left behind is the interesting part. Before Grams, the dark web was chaos. After Grams, every dark web search tool that followed copied the same formula: clean layout, ranked results, familiar design. Turns out, criminals want the same thing everyone else wants: a search bar that actually works. The formula doesn't care whether you're shopping for shoes or something a lot worse. Fauca. Most major data leaks don't start with sophisticated hacking. They start with someone forgetting to set a password. Fauca was the search engine that proved it. It crawled open directories and unsecured FTP servers, the kind that companies and governments accidentally leave exposed to the public internet. A company forgets to lock down their backup server, Fauca finds the zip files. A government contractor leaves classified PDFs on an unprotected port, indexed within hours. No exploits needed, no encryption broken, just a crawler walking through doors that nobody bothered to close. Fauca was eventually taken offline after it got connected to several high-profile data thefts. But the scanning technique didn't die with it. Google dorking, using special search operators to find exposed files through regular Google, does the same thing in a different wrapper. The hacking community still uses specialized crawlers based on the same principle. IT departments lose sleep over this because the fix sounds simple: just lock your servers. But in practice, organizations have hundreds or thousands of machines. One misconfigured setting on one forgotten machine is all it takes. Hidden on the internet is a temporary condition. It lasts exactly until a crawler decides to check, and there's always a crawler checking. Intel X. Ever wonder where your password ends up after a data breach? There's a good chance it lands in Intelligence X, Intel X for short. It's not a search engine in the traditional sense. It's a living archive of leaked data. Every major breach, stolen passwords, dumped email databases, exposed financial records, gets indexed here. You type in an email address, a domain name, or even a Bitcoin wallet, and Intel X shows you every time that data appeared in a known leak. Security researchers and journalists rely on it to trace how stolen information moves through criminal networks. They can follow a single leaked database from the initial breach through multiple resale points on the dark web. But identity thieves use it too. It's their first stop when hunting for fresh targets. Several countries have made Intel X illegal because it provides easy access to personal data that should have been erased years ago. That password you changed in 2019? Still in the archive. The phone number from a breach you forgot about? Sitting there, searchable, waiting. Even old usernames from services that shut down years ago show up in the results. You moved on, the internet didn't, and the archive keeps growing with every new breach, every new dump. Intel X proves something uncomfortable. The internet never forgets, even when you really wish it would. Ahmia. An ethical search engine for the dark web. That sounds like a contradiction, and honestly, it kind of is. But Ahmia tries anyway. It's an open-source Tor search engine that actively filters out the worst content. Child abuse material, for example, gets blocked. That alone makes it unusual. Most dark web search engines are either broken, full of scams, or index everything without any judgment at all. Ahmia draws a line. But clean is relative. Ahmia still connects users to dissident forums, leaked government documents, whistleblower platforms, and news sites censored by authoritarian regimes. That's exactly why those regimes have banned it. Because the code is open source, anyone can audit it, fork it, or mirror it on a different server. One government takes it down, someone else puts it back up the next day. That's the advantage of open source. It's almost impossible for any single authority to permanently kill it. For journalists and activists in repressive countries, Ahmia is genuinely important. It's a way to reach information that their government actively suppresses. For everyone else, it's a window into the parts of the internet most people prefer to pretend don't exist. That's the strange position Ahmia occupies. Lifeline for some, liability for others. Freedom and danger sitting in the same search results. Torch. They've seized the servers, shut down the nodes, arrested the operators, and Torch keeps coming back. Short for Tor search, Torch is one of the oldest search engines on the dark web, and the one that refuses to die. It indexes over 1 million .onion pages with 0 filters, no content moderation, no safe search, no exceptions. Everything gets indexed. That makes Torch both the most comprehensive and most dangerous search engine on Tor. Most of what it returns is noise. Dead links, abandoned forums, random text dumps, pages that haven't been updated since 2016. But buried in that noise are markets, files, and services that exist specifically because the surface web won't host them. Every cyber task force in the world has targeted Torch at some point. The servers go down. A new version appears within weeks. That cycle has repeated for years, and nobody has been able to break it. That's what separates Torch from everything else on this list. Grams got shut down. Fauca went offline. EXIF search became obsolete. Torch just keeps showing up. It doesn't pretend to be ethical. It doesn't filter anything. It's the raw, unregulated search bar of the internet's deepest floor. And after all these years, no one has figured out how to kill it. Maybe no one ever will. Anyway, I also made some other cool videos too. Don't forget to watch them later. Okay,